Welcome back. All right, so apparently I have Friday off. I guess I can thank Florida for that. This series was a tough one. Carolina, I think, fought really hard. I think Carolina played well, but in the end, it comes down to Bobrovsky. It comes down to those key goals at key moments. They just didn't get them. For Carolina, they now have lost in the conference final 12 straight games. So 2009, 2019, and 2023, they get swept. So for Carolina, they're close, right? This is a team that's very close to potentially winning another Stanley Cup. And that could be the toughest thing to figure out is. So going into the offseason for them now, what do they do? Well, I'll talk about that in the video tomorrow. But for today, we'll talk about this. Anderson versus Bobrovsky. Barkov was back and he put his stamp on the game early. We're 41 seconds in, and Duclair scores from Verhaeghe and Barkov, and that was after Barkov nearly scored. I was going to put that on the board, but they scored while I was going to put it on the board. So that one was buried from the side of the net. Anderson a little bit out of position from making the previous save. And that was the second shot on net. So the rebound gets buried by Duclair, and Carolina's up against it early. Remember, they've had trouble scoring this entire series. Bennett then flattens Slavin. He's concussed. It was a clean hit. It's one of those ones that's a clean hit. Now, what's interesting to me is that with Slavin, there's no contact directly with the head. This is something I've talked about before. I didn't see direct head contact that was really bad, but you don't need direct head contact of a really violent nature. The way that he goes down to the ice absolutely can cause a concussion because it's just your brain rattling around in your head. And he hit that ice pretty darn hard. He wasn't braced for the hit. I don't think he saw it coming. So the Canes take exception to the hit by Bennett. I understand why, even though it was a clean hit. I understand that in a big game like this, they get upset, but they get a little overzealous in their response. And so the Panthers come out of that with a power play. So really, really tough set of circumstances. We're only 127 into the game. Slavin is now gone, would not return. This is a concussion for him. And the Panthers are already up 1-0, and now they're going to the power play. This is absolutely a worst case scenario for the Canes early. So the Canes don't let him set up. Montour then has a slot shot that's saved. Ekblad has a shot deflect out. It's killed off. The Canes then clear it out. Burns has a shot that's saved. We get a power play for Carolina. They cycle. The Panthers clear. Canes set up. Jarvis gets denied. Florida clears it out yet again. That power play's killed off. 2 shots during that power play for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the Canes did press afterwards. Pesce has a shot that's held. Pesce played a lot tonight. I thought he did great work. Considering, a lot of work with Slavin out. That became Pesce's job to shut things down. Nason would exit this as well. He did not return to the game. I think he returned for a bit and then he would leave again. But either way, for Carolina, rough night. The shots were 5-2 Carolina at 8.5 minutes. So after they get that goal, well, Florida goes a long time between shots. But we've seen in this series, shots don't matter. And with Florida in these playoffs, the shots don't really mean anything. So ozone penalty for the Canes. The Panthers' second power play. That's one of those tough ones. You don't like to see those penalties 200 feet from your net. Aggressive kill. Bennett has a net drive that saved and held. There was a shorthanded rush by Jordan Staal that gets defended. The next clear was by Pesce. But with 7 seconds left in the power play, who else? It is Tkachuk scoring on the power play from Ekblad and Forsling at 10:23. And that makes it 2-0. And that was the first 2-goal lead of the series. So that's pretty rare in this one because it's been really, really tight. It wouldn't last that long. The Canes would get a power play. Aho fires one wide. His next chance was blocked. Power plays killed off. No shots on net. I'm going to say this, though. I thought Sebastian Aho had a decent game. Doesn't get on the board with any points tonight, but I thought he had a decent game. Just no breaks. And then Stastny would bury one after the initial shot had hit the post on a turnover. Stastny with that one at 13:03 from Shea and Martinook. I spelled Shea wrong there, but we all know I mean Shea there, not K. So teams then exchange rushes. Reinhardt's denied on a face-off win. The Canes cleared out. Martinook has a rush chance that's defended. I thought Martinook had his best game of the series as well. Aho has a rush chance that gets held. Bennett had a shot held as the Panthers press. And this is where they told us Slavin wouldn't return, which we all knew when we saw the hit. There was no way he was coming back into this. Panthers press in the final minute. Things get kind of punchy at the horn. It's 2-1 Florida after one. Second period. Shots are even. The shot attempts after the first period were 17-16 for Carolina. So very evenly played game. Early press then by Florida. Verhaeghe's denied on a fast break. Shea then has a net drive chance. That's held. There's some pushing after that. The shots are 3-1 for the Panthers at 2.5 minutes, but Nate just buries a rebound in close. Shea and Kokaniemi with the assist at 2:51. Now, initially, everybody thought that was Teravainen's goal. I waited to see if it had changed back to Teravainen, but Nate just, last I looked, still the one credited with the goal. Duclair's then denied on a 2-on-1. Pesce, honestly, playing a ton at this point. Drury is then denied. The rebound's held as the Canes press. Burns has a shot that's held as the Canes press some more. Fost fires one high on a rush. Nate just takes a puck to the side of the knee. He was in a lot of pain down on the ice. He exits. Brindamore was unhappy, not because it was dirty or anything, just because who's left? Like, everybody's getting hurt, and this is just a disaster. Chatfield shoots one wide. The Panthers clear. Barkov has a net drive that's saved. On a tic-tac-toe play in close, Florida's first line gets on the board. So Lomberg with his first of the playoffs from White and Eric Stahl at 9:49. I mean, I was calling for a point by Stahl in this series. Eventually it had to happen, so it's not anything I did, of course. I don't have hockey powers. Contrary to popular belief with when I release videos and how teams do after I make a video on them. So the Panthers look for another. Nate just returns. Luostarinen was out for Florida. I don't think he returned to the game. Cousins is then denied on a 3-on-2. The rebound is held. The Canes press with 7.5 minutes left. Things get pushy before a faceoff. It was just Lomberg wanted to see what the Canes were talking about. I thought they were kind of rude. They could have at least told him the plan. But anyways, Verhaeghe has a shot that's blocked as the Panthers press. Cousins to Tkachuk gets picked off. 4:15 left. The Panthers get a power play. There's a post for Barkov 4 seconds into the power play, approximately anyways, and then it's cleared out. The next Barkov chance is fired high and cleared. Net feed to Lindell gets picked off. The power play's killed off. No shots on net, but it was dangerous. 1:43 left. The Canes get a power play. Nate just couldn't bury one, so he does return at this point, or he had returned at this point. Shorthanded Forsling rush gets fired high. We're going to the third period with the score 3-2 in favor of the Florida Panthers. And there was no Luostarinen to start the third period, no Nason to start the third period for Carolina either. Canes leading in shots and hits at that point in the game. That would be the case the whole way through. Doesn't matter. Early jump for Florida. The Panthers had the lone shot on net 3 minutes into the period. Forsling had a follow-through that catches Aho in the face. So, I mean, Aho, rough night for him. But again, if it's a follow-through and you touch the puck, then it's not a penalty. Otherwise, if he hadn't touched the puck, it would have been a penalty. Canes press at 4 minutes. They draw a power play there. Aho was denied. The rebound's blocked. His next shot is held. The Panthers clear. And then Gostisbehere has a screenshot that's held as well. The power play's killed off. Then Bennett fires one wide on a rush the other way. Jordan Stahl has a blast that's held as the Canes press. Carolina did everything they could in this game, really. Bennett's then denied and close. Anderson holds. The shots are 7-3 for Carolina, 9 minutes in. Bobrovsky controlling rebounds and making sure there wasn't any net to shoot at. So making sure when they got those opportunities, there was no top corner for them to wire it towards, making things very difficult. Aho has a rush chance that's defended. Reinhardt has a backhand deflected wide. And then there was a post for Lomberg on a turnover. He almost had a second of the game there. Ghost has a shot that's blocked. The Canes press. Foss then had a shot go wide. Duclair clears it out. Natchez is denied as the Canes press some more. The Panthers were in a trap defense, basically, as the time's winding down. Shea's then denied. His next shot's fired wide, and then they tie it. It is fast scoring from Martinook at 16:38. He buries it in close. The Canes very excited. They've tied the game, and I thought, all right, well, maybe we'll get overtime for the third time in 4 games. Canes then look for the lead. Reinhardt fires one wide on a rush. Barkov has a shot that deflects out. Pesce fans on one on a 3-on-2. 57 seconds left. The Panthers get a power play. Just dangerous time. Bad time for a penalty for Carolina. So Florida cycles. The Canes clear. Then there's a near miss by Reinhardt, and then Tkachuk. Tkachuk at 19:55. He's absolutely mobbed on the ice after, too. The whole team comes onto the ice. Barkov and Reinhardt with the assists. So there's 4.3 seconds left. And then they reviewed it to see if there was goalie interference, and they decided no, there wasn't enough there to justify overturning the goal. So Tkachuk does get that goal, and that is your winner. The Florida Panthers are going to the Stanley Cup final. They have won 11 out of 12, and they improved their record to 11-1 in these playoffs when they're outshot. So I guess if you want to beat Florida, just Let them get like a bunch of shots and don't take very many. I don't know. We'll see how it goes in the final. My 3 stars in this. So again, I put my 3 stars down. Tkachuk with, of course, 2 power play markers, absolutely the difference. Bobrovsky, another solid game for him, and Barkov. I thought Barkov played really well coming into a game where I don't think he was 100%, but you couldn't tell by the way he played. Shots on net were 9 apiece in the first, 17-9 Carolina in the second, 13-7 Carolina in the third. They outshoot the Panthers 39-25. Power plays are the difference. Carolina 0 for 4, Florida 2 for 4. So what's interesting with this is that if you looked at last year's numbers, Florida's power play was fantastic last year. This year it had its ups and downs. In this series, and especially in this game, it looks sort of like last year's power play. And the Canes just can't get that goal because there wasn't enough time left. So just really frustrating, of course, if you're a Canes fan. Hits were 33-22 for Carolina, so they outshoot them, they outhit them. But Freddie Anderson, 21 saves on 25 shots at one end. Bobrovsky had 36 saves on 39 shots at the other end. The hats they gave the Florida Panthers for winning the conference. Man, can Fanatics not come up with a really good hat? I got a couple of Fanatics hats today. They were on sale, clearance on the NHL site. I'll talk about them at some point because it's ridiculous. I have my reasons for saying ridiculous. But they did carry the trophy, too. Like, it wasn't just that they touched the Prince of Wales trophy. They picked it up and skated around the ice with it. So, Matthew Tkachuk, not scared of any kind of curse from touching the trophy. I'm really glad that in recent years, that curse of touching the trophy has gone away. I never understood the curse of touching the trophy. I don't believe in curses. I don't believe in any of that. And for Florida, now they're in the final for the first time since 1996. This is the first time they've been past the second round since 1996. And that building was pretty loud and pretty full tonight. So I think Florida fans are really into this right now. And now they get to go to the Stanley Cup final, where they will play either Dallas or Vegas. Surprise, surprise, it's going to be Vegas. They'll be on the road for the first 2, but they're used to that. They are used to that from the Boston series, the Toronto series, and the Carolina series. If Florida wins this cup, they're going to go through 4 really, really tough teams to do it. 4 of the highest ranked teams in the National Hockey League. And then we can get into the discussion on how this run would compare with like a 2012 LA Kings. I've done power rankings of Stanley Cup winners before. Honestly, if Florida pulls this off, if they upset Vegas as well, that's going to be one of the most impressive Stanley Cup finals. Well, one of the most impressive Stanley Cup runs in my time watching hockey. Like, it'll be, I would say, top 5. And the fact they've won 11 out of 12, because I keep hearing how this, it's all fixed. It's fixed. The fix is in. They've won 11 out of 12. It's not like these series are close and then they just happen to get something. And again, both teams had 4 power plays. Carolina couldn't score on theirs. Florida did. So we'll see how things work out. Again, for Carolina, now it's back to the drawing board. And that gets frustrating when you're this close. But again, they have to figure out how they can get over the finish line and win themselves the Stanley Cup as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Again, congratulations to the Florida Panthers on winning the East. They came back from 3-1 down against the Boston Bruins. They dispatched the Leafs in 5 games, and now they dispatch Carolina in 4. And so, yeah, they look really good. They're going to get some rest for the Stanley Cup final. That could be key. We'll see how healthy they are. That could be great for Barkov with whatever took him out of that last game. It wasn't a bar mitzvah. And so, yeah, we'll see how Barkov's health is going into the final. But guys tend to fight through the pain in the final because you never know when you're going to get that chance to go back. Again, they haven't been there since 96. We don't know if this is going to be the last time Florida gets into the Stanley Cup final for another 20-plus years. So, and we enjoy that while it lasts. That's always my advice, and I really hope that everybody does enjoy this while it lasts, because again, you never know. The league, there is some parity in this league, and from one year to the next, things can change dramatically. So again, if I had to give an MVP in this series, it'd be between Tkachuk and Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky's overall numbers, I think, would give it to him. But let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.